Welcome back everyone to Gotcha Interact. Today we're going to be talking about the 4 stars that just released on the banners. Obviously we are looking at Varesa and we are looking at Xilonen. Looking at those banners and the 4 stars that just released, we have Gaming, Chevreuse, and Yansan. Now let's go ahead and talk about kind of the idea behind a few of them. Kind of just starting out with Gaming, we'll just kind of go up and then down into the list. Gaming, another plunge character. So honestly, I'm not too surprised, but he did come out of left field a little bit. Gaming was in there, I figured, but if you remember, what were the other characters we had stated we wanted to see, Rift?
Yeah, so like over the weekend, we could have made a video on like our predictions for this, like we have in the past, but we were kind of just talking. I think it was like Friday, and we knew obviously Yansan, but the others were I think Gaming, Farazan, Yanfei, and Beto. I think those were the main five. So we were kind of just like, oh yeah, Gaming makes a lot of sense, and hey, here he is. So and it's looking really good. And then that third one, now we know for sure, is Chevreuse. So overall, this is looking very stacked, to be honest. So it's kind of like you better want these 5 stars, to be honest, because like whether you look at the 5 stars or not, people are going to be definitely looking to get C6 Chevreuse if they don't already have it. We
Right.
already know that Janssen's kind of another one of those characters where she's really powerful, even at C0, but she has a really, really good C2 and then an amazing C6. Those are her two best cons. So I know people already from the start are probably going to be wanting to look at that as well. So you're either going to be getting a Varesa or Xilonen, very likely if you are targeting constellations on some of these characters. And then Gaming's kind of just there like, hey, good character, to be honest. He's one of the best 4-star DPSs, so hey, there you go. And then to be on Xiaonen's banner, just it's actually really good for him. And if you don't use Xilonen with him, he can do an overload team as well, just like Varesa can. So I think this is a really stacked banner, and I think the reason it is stacked is because, you know, they're putting Xilonen in the second half. A lot of people are going to want to pull Xilonen that maybe didn't get her, me being one of those people, because she's just an amazing unit, one of the best out there to get in terms of power placement and meta and stuff like that. And then even if you do already have her, you know, getting Xilonen C1 and C2, especially that C2, just really, really powerful constellation. So it makes sense in the long run that, you know, the 4 stars on the first half are really, really good. And then so the second half 4 stars may end up being pretty garbage just because they can still get away with, you know, having Xilonen there for a lot of those people.
Yeah, I think also alongside of that, we've got like an overload feel to the first kind of banner here. We have a Varesa and we have Gaming. You know, you already have Xilonen kind of here as well. Obviously, I think Gaming and Xilonen came out together, if I'm not mistaken. So even still, even if they didn't, either way, they are still a really good combo considering he's a good 4-star. If you get multiple versions of him, you know, getting multiple constellations, then he's still actually a really fun character to run, especially when you're talking about something like the Imaginarium Theater, so that's something really cool. Obviously, Chevreuse, like you were talking about, constellations are just insane on her. Yansan, I think people are just going to want more Yansan. I think we've been waiting for her for so long, and a lot of people that wanted her are just going to get to a point where they're like, I don't even care what happens. I'm just going to get as many as I can. So, and I don't think the 5 stars, even if they don't want plunge or anything like plunge on their account, I still don't think it's going to matter. I think they're going to do what they want and still kind of run it together. I think that's at least how I see people running after this banner. But you do have Xilonen and I believe Venti in the second half. So people who are wanting to collect Archons or people who are looking to, obviously, like you were talking about, get good constellations on Xilonen or even just pick up Xilonen. You know, you have to worry about that too. But I think this banner actually, because of the 4 stars, in an overall basis, I think makes these characters, makes the banner stronger. You know, Gaming already makes with Xilonen strong. Chevreuse is making the overload worth it with Varesa and then Yansan. You've already kind of got 3/4 of a team already together there. Never mind, you could do the same thing with Gaming, Yansan, and Xilonen. You know, just doing kind of that team. So there's just a lot of good things there.
Varesa is just around the corner, but arguably more exciting than even that are the upcoming characters Effie and Skirk. And what better way to help stock up those primogem savings than to use Loot Bar? Loot Bar is an online platform that allows you to top up your Genshin Impact account at a cheaper rate than what's provided in-game. The best news about this is that only your UID and your server region are required when making a purchase. You don't have to use any emails, any passwords, or anything like that. Loot Bar guarantees your delivery in just 30 minutes or less, but every time I've used it, I always get it within 60 seconds. If you do encounter any problems, they do have a 24/7 live chat support. You can see right here in the bottom right. If you're still unsure of whether or not Loot Bar is safe or reliable, they have over 35,000 positive reviews that you can look at yourself on their own website, and also Trustpilot if you want to look in other sources. Don't take it from just us. There have been other creators that have used Loot Bar in the past, such as Jello Impact, Mujin, Tevat Times. Also, if you do play other games, you can check out their homepage and you can see here that they support Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, Withering Waves, and many more games. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and check out that link in our description and our pinned comment to check out Loot Bar for yourself and save some money on those top-ups. I think from a new player perspective, this is a really high value banner because we all know like Varesa is going to be really, really powerful. So if it is a new player's first DPS to go after, I think that's a great option for them because you don't even need Xianyun. We've already talked about this before, but Varesa's best team isn't the Xianyun team. It's the Overload team, and Chevreuse is on the banners. So it's not like, you know, because if Chevreuse wasn't here, the new player pulling on this for Varesa, let's say, wouldn't have even a chance at getting Chevreuse. Or it could happen, but that chance is really, really low, of course.
Right.
You know, and so they have to be kind of look at, well, what's the next option after Overload? It is the Xianyun team. And then after that, you know, Varesa's powerful enough even without Xianyun and Chevreuse. Her third most powerful team is still okay, but even then that still has 5 stars in it. You know, you want Farina if you are using Xianyun. If you're not, you know, Xilonen, she's about to run, and I would say at that point just a new player should wait maybe for Xilonen and then another DPS like Skirk or something. But because Chevreuse is on the banner, this just skyrocketed the value of even going after Varesa, even if you're not really, you know, you weren't planning on it before. So that way, if you do get it, you know, you're targeting that Yansan, getting that Chevreuse. Like you said, that's 3/4 of a team already, because Varesa's best team, it does include Yansan and Chevreuse. And then that 4th character, the best in the slot would be Mawika, but Pyro Traveler's a fine substitute for not having Mawika, and a new player has access to that. So it's a very free-to-play friendly, accessible team right there from the start, where Varesa is the only 5-star in that team if you are using Pyro main character.
Yeah, I think there's just a great... Honestly, this banner kind of just came out of nowhere. I figured Farazan, I think we thought was going to be in this banner instead, which wouldn't have been bad. Like, I don't think that would have made it any worse, kind of. You know, because a lot of people would still probably just pick up the recent Zhao they picked up, or the past Zhao, or thinking about building Zhao with that most recent set that's going to come out, and that would kind of be combined with using Xianyun and kind of having that idea at least together. But at the same time, the Chevreuse, it's just kind of like, at this point, it's something about the Electro characters. I think Raiden has had the past 2 banners or so. I think the past 2 banners she's had like Kujosara and Chevreuse. So that's really, really good. And then you just pair that with the next Electro TPS that comes out, which I know we're skipping Cloran, but then you just go on to Varesa, and it's just like, oh, okay, here, you have Overload too. So... And once again, now you don't have a lot of Bennett Circle Impact where he's just occurring in every single banner because he's just so good with all the heals and with the attack buff. But now you have somebody like Yansan who can fit in the Overload team and still be an attack buffing character, and also be somebody who's running Scroll of Cinder City. There's just really, really good mentions and really good kind of buffs with everything. And her attack buff also follows characters. We already talked about kind of what she does in the past few videos that we've made about, you know, talking about her here and there. But I just think that overall this banner just really did surprise me. And even somebody like Yansan, even if you have Bennett, or you know, if you have Zhao, sorry, and you're using Zhao with Xianyun, my thought is like, honestly, yes, technically, the Farina, Farazan, C6 Farazan, Farina, Xianyun and Zhao are going to be the best Zhao team. But honestly, if you're using Farina in like the other half or something, and you don't really want to use Bennett or something like that, I do think that technically you could just use this Yansan with your Zhao and your Xianyun as well, using the C6 Farazan. Because that attack buff is still following you, which is really good for Zhao, especially if you're killing things pretty quickly in the Abyss, and you need to move over, and you still have some burst time left. You need to move over to a different part of the Abyss floor, and you kind of need to, you know, kind of get outside of that ult, Bennett ult. You know, once again, this ult follows you. So there's just some really good, interesting things. I can't wait for kind of this banner to come out. I mean, I'm going to be pulling. I was kind of up in the air because the next few characters I really do want, but at this point I'm just throwing caution to the wind. I don't care anymore. I really like Varesa.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what about, I know you said you were probably going to be pulling. What does that look like for you?
I'm pulling
Mr. 4-star King.
at this point, because because the 4 stars are good, like my Chevrolet is still not C6, so I have a really good reason now to pull on the banner regardless because
Right.
her cons are just very, very valuable. And Yansan
Extremely.
being a new character, obviously I'm going to want to pick that up at C0 bare minimum, but I'd like to get some cons for her too. The C2 is really good, C6 is really good, so we'll see where my luck goes. But this definitely makes me want to go after Varesa now, so because I'm already going for Shanyan's weapon, so I could possibly get Varesa's weapon, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I think overall though, now that we do know the 4 stars, and we kind of had to wait a little longer than usual. We usually know by Friday or Saturday before the banner, but now that we do know, I think for some people though out there, just like us, this might actually push them over with their decision if they were kind of wishy-washy to be like, yeah, you know what, I might at least throw a few tentpoles in and see what I get.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing, especially if you're getting, like you're saying, getting Eonson. I think that's what most people care about. So a lot of people are going to be kind of going and, even trying to get as many copies as they can with Eonson to just be like, yeah, you know what? Whatever happens if an early 5 drops, an early 5 drops. Like you're saying, you can, like, you just have some pulls. This banner, you can't really go wrong. Unless for some odd reason the
Right.
game just slaps you with, like, 17 Gamings, then I guess that's the problem. But even still, he's still a really good character, so it's kind of like he's a pretty strong 4-star. With a character
Hmm.
like him and Hazo. Now, Hazo needs a lot of investment, but, kind of Gaming does the same as well. I mean, 4-star DPSs, they just do. But honestly, they're some of the best 4-star DPSs, if not the 2 best. So if you're going to build any of the 4-star DPSs and get them to C6 accidentally, this lineup isn't terrible. Accidentally getting a couple more of one of these 3 is really not that much of a problem. Gumming is your worst case
Hmm.
scenario, and for that being a worst case scenario is still good. So I definitely think there's some
Absolutely.
pretty
Good
solid
cons as
things.
well. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one thing to think about, and this is my last thing about this, is it's a good banner, it's stacked, but once again, the reason is we have Xilonen getting a rerun right after this, but even more than that, with a new character,
Like
in the
Skirk
future,
and
like
everything.
Effie,
Yep.
Skirk, that is stuff to keep in mind. And obviously, those of you who have been, saving for that, okay, I got to be careful with this, look at my polls, how much can I get, how much am I saving, what's the luck look like. So obviously, those of you who are saving know that. For those of you who maybe don't care as much, maybe didn't know about that or something, just something to keep in mind, maybe new players. Effie's going to be a really, really good character. We don't have the kit yet, and we are excited to actually talk about that stuff in the near future once the new
Should be about a day or two,
speculation
yeah.
stuff comes out. So yeah, that'll be great. But it is just something to think about.
No, that's definitely a good point because that other set that you have the plunge set that Varesa is going to work on, but the other set is Skirk set, and we do have a
Yeah.
character like Effie who's going to work with Skirk, and this is the first time that Freeze is kind of coming back. Hopefully, that we'll kind of see. So if Effie's kind of there to even make other cryo characters good again, or even make Hydro characters somehow good as well, there's definitely just a way that you can definitely see some pretty good possibilities there. So yeah, very good point.
Yeah.
As much as a banner does look good, you still need to kind of keep in mind, what does your account need? What does that look like? If you already have Zhao and Plunge and you already kind of have this kind of going, don't be like me and pull if you want to. But at the same time, if you're like me and you're like, you know what, I don't care, I'm just going to pull anyways, do that. But yeah, just, I guess, kind of reflect on your account a little bit. Well, besides that, that's everything we've got talking about this banner in this video. So if you guys did like the video, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what you guys think of the 4 stars down below. If you guys are going to be pulling, if you guys are going to be saving, what are you guys waiting for? Thank you, and we'll see you guys in the next one.